Hey guys, it's Graham. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be telling you how to move to Spain or a lot of other European countries for free. If you're new to the channel, a big welcome. It would mean so much to me if you would like it and subscribe, as I need your help to get to my goal of 1,000 subscribers. We are almost halfway there. If you're already a subscriber, thank you so much. You are absolutely priceless to me, so special. Thank you. And that being said, let's jump right into this video. So today's video is a video that has been requested a lot lately, and that is how you can move to Europe for pretty much free. So before I tell you actually how to do this, I should define my terms. When I say free, I don't mean that there is no cost to it. What I mean is whatever costs you incur, you will recuperate later if you have decent financial habits. I'm gonna talk about how to do this later in the video, so hang in there for that. When I first came to Spain almost 2 years ago now, as a fresh-faced 18-year-old, I knew nothing about traveling or au pairing or anything of the sort, so it was a totally new experience for me. After just 2 months in Spain, I absolutely fell in love with Spanish life, Spanish language, the culture, everything about the country, au pairing, and after another short stint before COVID traveling in Spain, I decided to really dig my heels in and spend a year or two here in the country. If you would like to hear about how I came to that decision, I've made several videos about that, which I will put right up here. But after I made that decision, I started looking into the process of visas and moving, which kind of leads me to where we are now in Spain. I've been here in Seville 8 months, and then I'm actually moving to Madrid in just 2 weeks, where I'll stay for another 5 months. Wow. So altogether, I will have spent like 19-ish months in Spain when I do end up going back home, and it has been just the most incredible adventure. So now I want to tell you how you can move here for pretty much free. And again, this does not just apply to Spain. This could be France, this could be Germany, but my expertise is Spain, so that's going to be the majority of what I'm talking about. Let me start this by saying, you cannot start the process of moving here if you currently have $0.00 in your bank account. This does require some initial investment. This is gonna require some skin in the game in the beginning, but like I said, you will earn this money back if you have good financial habits, okay? So don't think it's gone forever, and that's why I say that it's free, because you will get it back. It might just take time. There's several different options to do this, 2 of which I really like, 1 of which I don't, and I'm gonna break those down for you. Au pairing is the one I've picked. That's the 3rd one I'm gonna tell you about, so hang in there for that. And if you already know about one of these, you can use the scroll bar here at the bottom to go on to a different one. The first one I'm gonna tell you about, one that I really love, is called Auxiliares de Conversación, or in English, conversational assistants, I guess. This option is mainly open for native English speakers and or people who have a very high proficiency in English, and what this is, you will apply for this Auxiliares, or commonly referred to as AUX program here in Spain. The program will place you in a school here in Spain, whether it be primary education, younger ones, secondary, middle, or the older high school kids. You don't really have a say, and then you will come and live in Spain for a year or 2 years and work in this school. Of course, they're gonna pay you, I think, a decent amount of money. You have really fantastic hours, and I hear loads of good things about doing this. I think one of the downsides in doing AUX is you are not generally going to live with a host family. You're gonna live with flatmates, you're gonna have your own place, and this may be really appealing to you, but in my opinion, when you are moving to a different country, especially one that you've never been to, probably don't speak the language of, living with a host family is so valuable, as it really gives you a place to build some roots, to set down a bit, and to get adjusted to the country before you go at it on your own. Now, there are some things you could do. You could always look for host families that would be willing to loan you a room or rent you a room for a semester or 2 and then move out on your own. That's totally up to you, but I think living with a host family is a great thing that you should consider if you're doing AUX. The biggest negative that I have with being an auxiliar is you have no say in where you're placed. You could be placed in the very center of Madrid, or you could be placed in a middle of nowhere backwoods town in southern Spain. One of the reasons I don't like this is, say you're placed in the middle of Madrid, you may not have a budget for being placed in the middle of Madrid. So you might just be able to afford like ramen and coffee. But if you're conversely placed in the middle of nowhere, then you're gonna be in the middle of nowhere. there. Spain does not have a lot of really good connections to the rural parts of the country, so you would be kind of stuck. Again, I don't love this part about it, but it is a real roll of the dice. The next option here, and my personal least favorite, is doing Erasmus or study abroad. If you are American, you've probably never heard the term Erasmus, and it's just the European term for study abroad, so they mean the same thing. Let me make myself clear. I think study abroad is very useful in a certain time in a certain situation, but I think if you're looking to actually move to a different country and incorporate yourself, study abroad is not the thing that I would do. Generally, I think it is the least immersive and the most expensive option to move. If you did study abroad, there is a high possibility that it would not be free for you. As a matter of fact, you would have a net loss in money, as it can be very expensive. If you're an American, depending on where you're going to college, you might have to pay your college's fees on top of a study abroad fee, which is crazy expensive when you add up all those things. Additionally, as an American, when you're doing study abroad, you're generally not going to be placed with a host family or even have a flat of your own. You are going to be living in dorm style housing in a different country. So I just really don't like the concept, because it's like you're spending all your time with other people from your university, speaking your language, living in dorm style housing, something you've always done. So in my opinion, it's like going to college just in a different country. It's not doing anything new. It's just having a bit of a change of scenery. I'm going to be making a whole video soon about studying abroad versus au pairing, or maybe just studying abroad in general, so be on the lookout for that, and I don't want to talk too much about it, as I'll cover it more in that video. If you're coming from Europe and you're taking part in the Erasmus program, it is probably going to be cheaper for you, and you might be able to pick your own place, but I really don't like study abroad coming from the US. I don't think it is that impressive, and I definitely think there's more cost-effective, more beneficial things you can do. The last thing I'm going to talk about, my personal favorite, the one that I've always done, is au pairing. I love being an au pair. I think it is absolutely fantastic, and I highly encourage you guys to look into it if you've never considered it. Being an au pair is open for anyone, but generally, at least here in Spain, host families tend to prefer native English speakers and or people with a very high proficiency in English. If you're not really familiar with what an au pair is, basically it is a young person that goes to a different country and lives with a host family, takes care of their kids, kind of like a nanny, and in exchange, they're gonna give you free room, free board, often free transportation, a lot of the times free insurance. They're gonna give you money for language school, sometimes, not always, and additionally, they're gonna give you a bit of money at the end of the week to go on all of that. It is a fantastic setup in my opinion, and I genuinely have no complaints about it. Au pairing is not free completely, as you will still have to pay for things like your visa if you're coming from the US, and you're gonna have to pay for your flights normally, but you will recuperate the cost. As I mentioned earlier, au pairs are generally paid what's called pocket money, which is a small amount of money every week on top of all the other things I mentioned. Normally this money is anywhere from between 80 and 130 or 140 US dollars a week, which I know does not sound like much when you're working, but when you add in all the other things, it comes out quite nice. One time I ran all the numbers on the free room, free board, insurance, all the things that my host family gives me, and I come out making about 300 US dollars a week, which is not bad at all when you consider all those things. The cost of living in Spain, although it's way cheaper than other European countries, is still higher than in the US. So when you do consider like having an apartment, having food, those things add up really quickly, and your host family will provide all of that, which ultimately means you get a lot of bang out of your buck. Another big benefit of being an au pair is you have a lot of free time. I work about 5 hours out of the day, and the whole rest of the day I have to do whatever I want. So you can go to language classes, you can start a side hobby, you can do sports, you can do literally whatever you want with that time. And I think it's so good as a time to invest in yourself and develop a new skill. This is also a great chance to recuperate some of that money, as you will often find here in Spain that families are going to want English lessons. So if you're a native English speaker or advanced English speaker, you can probably give some lessons on the side. You can do babysitting, house sitting, dog walking, or you can start a YouTube channel. Anything of that nature is going to help you recuperate some of the money that you lost during your initial investment. Au pairing nor any of the other options I gave you are free in the sense that they're not going to cost you any money, but you can earn it back. And I think au pairing is the best way to do that in my opinion. But ultimately, at the end of the day, you're gonna have to pick the one that's best for you, the best for your needs and your personality, and I can't make that decision for you. Alright guys, so this wraps up the video on how you can move to Spain or pretty much any other European country for free. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have, please be sure to like it, subscribe, and leave me a comment down below. I post new videos twice weekly, so be on the lookout for that, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Muchas gracias y hasta luego. Ciao.